Okay, we're back. I apologize for the uh uh for the horrible uh yeah. Yeah, that was bullshit. The technical difficulties. All right, so what you guys see right here, this is a map of Israel. Okay, and you can see down there in the bottom, near the Mediterranean Sea and Egypt, there's the Gaza Strip. Okay, those are the people that we'll be talking about today. We'll be talking about those people. So I wanted to show you guys the map and show you guys that that's the amount of land. The amount of land they have is only like 140 square miles. So, anyways, thank you for joining me on What the Nuts. Let's see here. Let me get everything going because I'm a slow kid. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Over here. Over here. Sweet. Got it. Got it. All right. You have your mic turned on. See how it's going down? It's got to be tight. No, you got to make it tight and put it where you're going to talk to it. Yeah. That mic stand isn't that great, but it'll work for now.
5.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you. Sounds like you're fucking eating chips. All right. Welcome to What the Nuts. I'm your host, Blue Collar Joe. This is a special report for this week right here. This is we're actually on hiatus, but I thought that I needed to jump in here. I need to jump in here. Let me show you guys who I look like, what I am. Anyways. So this past weekend we had a tragedy in Israel. Lots of tragedies. I want to start off by I'll start off this by reading you guys a little something. Okay, this is a quote from Dan Bongino. He said, "Savages only understand pain and death, and death is what you have to give them." Keep that in mind because I'm going to keep reiterating that through this entire discussion. Now, I want to start by saying that I'm not a Jew. And I'm not against the Jews. Okay? So, if you haven't been following the news, acts of horrific violence occurred over the weekend of October 7th, 2023. Palestinian terrorists, the organization Hamas, breached the border fence and commenced killing Israeli citizens. Also, terrorists flying in on paragliders mowed down partygoers at the Israeli music festival. These people were just partying. You know, not hurting nobody. Maybe doing a little drinking. Maybe doing a little dancing. While all this is going on, another group of terrorists was going door to door, killing entire families indiscriminately. Throughout this past week, more information has come to light, and the death toll has risen from the initial 700. But they thought that it was going to be 700. And that includes civilians and soldiers. As of this broadcast, it has raised to 1,327 Americans. Savages only understand pain and death. And death is what you have to give them. Quote by Dan Bongino. One of the things that really struck me is the thing I'm going to talk about next. Okay? A kibbutz is a small Israeli agricultural community. Now, right here, I live in Oklahoma, right? I live near a lot of agricultural community. I know a lot of people who farm, who raise cattle. I love those people. They're down to earth. You know, they don't want to hurt nobody. They just want to do their thing and you know, live to breathe live to breathe for another day or something like that. So all these kibbutzes are dotted throughout Israel, primarily in the Negev desert. In one of the kibbutzes, a horrific and tragic event occurred. 40 babies were found beheaded, and the rest of the residents were massacred. These were meager farmers. People who live off the land, and they are brutally murdered because of their heritage. Savages only understand pain and death. And death is what you have to give them. I want to put this on record. If you are a Hamas sympathizer, then you are no friend of the Blue Collar Joe and the What the Nuts podcast. If you think killing babies is okay, then you are not a friend of Blue Collar Joe and the What the Nuts podcast. We here at the What the Nuts podcast do not condone any of the savagery that transpired in Israel last weekend. We here at What the Nuts podcast want you to know that our thoughts and prayers are with the Israelite people. Savages only understand pain and death. And death is what you have to give them. So this part of the show is personally, this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Everything after this is my opinions, and I'm just sharing my opinions at this point. All week I've been listening to different talk shows. I've been listening to different hosts. I've been listening to people on the right, people on the left. The general consensus is that Hamas, the terrorist organization, and what they did to the citizens is horrific. Being that I'm a student of Christ's teachings, I know to turn the other cheek. However, in this situation, I believe that an eye for an eye is what is in order. Savages only understand pain and death. And death is what you have to give them. Hamas terrorist. Oh, boy. I wish my printer was working good. Here, I got an idea. I have an idea. It's right here. It's right here. Okay. Hamas terrorists deserve to meet Allah with expediency. So my solution to this conflict is to throw everything at the Gaza Strip and repo the Gaza Strip from the Palestinians. When you mess with kids and you mess with the elderly, you deserve to get what's coming to you. I think that they should carpet bomb the entire 7 miles by 25 miles. And with that being said, Oh, wow. And with that being said, it should send a message loud and clear to the terrorists that if anyone kills our elderly, our women, our children, we will dispatch you and your people without prejudice. I watched all the show. Excuse me. I watched all the footage that Ben Shapiro played on his show on Monday, the 9th. I suggest you go take a look. Watch that episode. I will put a link to that episode in the description of this. A good majority of them were shot by the terrorists themselves. So if you have any doubts whether Hamas terrorists actually did these atrocities, then you should see for yourself. Savages only understand pain and death. And death is what you have to give them. Most of my followers know that I've been incarcerated. I talked about it on many episodes. And the one thing that you learn is you don't record. You don't keep any records of anything criminal that you've done. But the Hamas terrorists are flaunting it in front of your face. They're making videos. They're posting them on the internet. They're being jubilant as they're killing people. As they're killing women, as they're killing children, and as they're killing the elderly. One thing that I know that if you record your crime as a criminal in America, you end up on a show known as World's Dumbest Criminals, right? Well, this band of world dumbest terrorists did that very thing. And there's no denying it. They gave you video proof that they were killing families. They were killing women. They were killing children. Now, the rules of war set women and children and the elderly aside. Those are not targets of war. And yet these monsters taped it and put it on the internet for you to watch. Are you freaking kidding me? And we're not annihilating those people? I did some research. Now, some of you don't know I'm somewhat of I would call myself a novice Bible scholar because I know a little bit about what the Bible says. And the Palestinian people can be traced back to the Canaanites, the very people that Moses was tasked to annihilate. See, thousands of years later, those people are still a thorn in the Israelites' side. That's for you to do your own research and find out for yourself. But understand this. The Hamas terrorists acted like savages and therefore should be treated like savages. And savages only understand pain and death. And death is what you shall give them. I want to thank you for watching this short. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. We will be returning with our regularly scheduled podcast. We're coming back Black Friday. Be November 24th. We'll be back live. We've got some stuff. We got some fun stuff in store for you, and we'll have some fun. Everything won't be like this podcast, okay? So don't. If you're seeing this for the first time, and this is the first podcast, and you made it this far, it's not always like this. All right. But I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming up next in the next chapter of What the Nuts. And we're gone like a fart in the wind.